Through the Desert is a high-adventure game of exploration where players vie for desperate control of territories. Players combat each other and... Can't do it. Tried it, didn't work. So back to the regular program. The game I'm looking at today is Through the Desert. It's a 2 to 5 player game put out by Fantasy Flight Games. It's part of what's called their Silverline editions, which are more compact and economical games. They come in pretty small boxes, just like this one. The major selling point of this game is there's this huge candy coating that's just glommed right on top of it with cute multicolored camels and little palm trees. Can a game with this much poofiness overcome the abstractness that lies beneath? Who knows? Here's the 3-player setup for Through the Desert. Each time you set up the board, these oases are randomly seeded throughout the board, as are all of these watering holes. So what this means is each game will play out slightly different. Now what you're doing in this game is you're trying to acquire points in one of 3 ways. You're either trying to acquire these watering holes, you're trying to touch these oases, or you're actually trying to block off certain sections of land and getting points like that. The way players do this is they have access to these 5 different colors of camels, and what they're doing is they're making continuous lines with each of these 5 colors to attempt to achieve any of those 3 goals. Since each player is going to have access to each of the 5 colors, the way that we identify who owns which camels is each player gets these little riders which snap onto the backs of these camels. To start the game, players start placing their caravan leaders. They place them one at a time, and you go around in a clockwise motion until all the caravan leaders have been placed. The only real rules being that you can't place a leader directly on a watering hole, it can't be next to an oasis, and you can't put 2 leaders next to each other. And now the proper game begins. On a player's turn, they may choose any 2 camels and add them to their existing caravan. And the only real rule is that you can't merge the same color caravan with an opponent's same color. On the very first round, the first 2 players can only place 1 camel, and then starting with the 3rd player, everyone from then on will place 2 camels at a time. So orange, I'm going to have him place one of these teal camels, and so I'm just going to place the camel right here. I will get this 3-point watering hole, and then red will move. So red is going to take a green camel, place him on this watering hole, and get this 3-point marker. Blue now gets to take his full turn. So his first camel placement is going to take this watering hole, which gives him 1 point. And then he's also going to play another white camel and touch this oasis. And when you touch an oasis, you immediately get 5 points the first time you touch each individual oasis. And play continues clockwise just like that. So orange, I could say, well, I want to take a pink camel and take this to a watering hole. And then I could use this purple camel and take a 2 watering hole there too. The only other special action in this game is enclosing an area. So here on red's turn, I'm going to have him place 2 pink camels. So the first one I'm going to place here and take the oasis bonus. And for a second camel, I'm going to place it here. And what this does is it completely encloses this area. And so what happens is I immediately take any markers that are inside, and had there been an oasis in here, I would have also scored for that. And at the very end of the game, I'm going to score a point for every single one of these spaces. And that's it. Gameplay continues clockwise like this until one of these 5 groups of camels is completely depleted. So at some point in the game, when every single one of these purple is gone, then the game ends and we do the final scoring. Final scoring consists of a few steps. First, you count how many water hole tokens that you have. Then you count the oasis tokens that you've acquired. You count any completely enclosed spaces without any opponent's camels in them. So this guy would get 3 points. Finally, you count out who has the biggest caravans of each color and award them 10 bonus points for each. So blue, who has 7 camels in this caravan, has the biggest caravan of camels, and he will get 10 points. And so you do this for each of the 5 colors. Tally up the score, and you have a winner. First off, I need to reiterate again, there's no question. This is an abstract game that has a random theme put on top of this. This could easily be a game about schools of fishes trying to eat whatever fish eat. I really don't know. Insects? Sure. So, do I like the game? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. 100 times yes. Really good game. This is a fine example of a fine abstract which got the attention it needed because of its little extra bits. I've played this game with someone as old as, I think it was 79, and the youngest person that I played this with, I think they were 10. And everyone that I've shown this to has absolutely adored it. And why? Because of those stupid multicolored pastel camels. End of story. The gameplay itself, it's fun. I admit, I like this strategization, whether it's a 2-player game or a 5-player game, the thinking of where you're going to go to block off each person, it's fun and engaging, but without the toys involved in this game, it just wouldn't have really interested anyone. So, big, super high, thumbs up. I like it as a social game with people who aren't really big gamers. It's not gonna be a mind-exploding, super heavy Euro. It's not supposed to be, but with the right people, and I've found plenty of the right people, it is just a stellar performer. So, high recommendations. Thank you.